Good morning, Hire Dynamics and Trace families. My name is Billy Milam, Chief Executive Officer of Hire Dynamics. I'm bringing you some incredibly exciting news today, the joining of two incredible companies under one umbrella of Hire Dynamics. I want to explain to you what's next and why we did this. First of all, I'll tell you why. The geographies of the two companies are great complements to one another. For a long time, Hire Dynamics has wanted a greater presence in the Savannah and Charleston markets. Beyond that, there's great complements, not only in geography, but also the clients that we serve. There's very little, if any, overlap between the clients that we serve, and that's what we think from that perspective. It's a great opportunity for both of us. But beyond that, and most importantly, it's the people. As we've had the opportunity to get to know many of the Trace leaders, we have been remarkably impressed with the quality and depth of leadership that Trace has. Trace wants to win. Their leaders want to win, and we do too. I'm new to Hire Dynamics too, having started with the company just last month. I came to Hire Dynamics after 22 years in the convenience store gas station industry. My wife and I live in Peachtree Corners, Georgia, just right down the road from the Duluth headquarters here in Atlanta. We've spent over half of our lives here in Georgia. I've spent the other half of my life being a native of South Carolina. Outside of work, I have 3 kids that I chase around, going to cheerleading competitions, playing golf, or playing tennis. My wife Pam and I are also involved in many community causes. 2 notable ones. One for me is Clemson University. I'm involved in their athletic fundraising organization called IPTAY. I have been for the last 5 years. I serve on their board of directors. Also, more locally, I serve on the board of directors for the Wesleyan School, a small private school where my kids attend. Scott, why don't you start by telling us a little bit more about yourself and also about Trace?
Okay, thank you, Billy. Appreciate that. Again, my name is Scott Roth, and I've been in this crazy staffing industry that I love for almost 15 years. Currently live in Savannah, Georgia. Been there going on 19 years with my wife, and I have 2 grown kids, both married. One lives in Savannah, the other lives in Charlotte. But my heart and joy right now are my grandkids. I have 2 grandkids in the Charlotte area, a boy 3 years old and a girl that's about 6 months old. So I live to make them happy. Some of my hobbies that I get involved with on a regular basis is I love to cook, kayaking, tennis, but of course work is my main passion. When I started with Trace almost 15 years ago, we had 6 branches and 1 on-site, and our revenues were right around the 21 million mark. Today, we have 18 branches, 8 on-sites, and a corporate office with revenues that will surpass $86 million. Trace is actually celebrating our 50-year anniversary this year, but we actually started as a Snelling franchise in 1969, and we were Snelling until 2014 when we broke away from the Snelling network and became Trace Staffing. In 2017, I became CEO of Trace Staffing, and since then we have grown our business by 26%. We're real proud of the sales organization that we have grown over the years. We are very sales focused, customer service focused, which really attracted us to Hire Dynamics. We feel there's a great integration between the 2 companies, the customers, employees centric, and we continue to grow that, and we want to continue to expand our reach with our customer base, throughout the Southeast. Our business focus is very similar to Hire Dynamics. We specialize in warehouse distribution, logistics, manufacturing, office services, and we also have a healthcare division. We're very proud of how we've grown over the years organically. We've been able to take customer service to the next level by expanding into states like Alabama, Illinois, Texas, and Virginia. I would like to introduce Jim Peschetti. He's been a critical part of our growth at Trace Staffing.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I joined the company 16 years ago, back in 2003, as, again, when we were part of our Snelling franchise network. My goal was to become an owner-operator, which I was able to achieve full ownership in 2013. But one of the good things along the way up to that time frame is I got to learn this industry from the ground up. I got to do everything. I filled orders, I made sales calls, heck, I even did payroll. It was kind of a jack of all trades, but it was an unbelievable experience, and it gave me a tremendous appreciation for what our employees deal with on a day-to-day basis and how much we cherish their efforts. In 2017, when Scott took over as CEO, I was able to join him as Chief Operating Officer of the company at that time and have been serving in that capacity ever since. One kind of personal note about me in this industry that is neat is my father passed away at a very young age and left my mom with 6 kids to raise. And she was 46 at the time, and she did not have any professional experience. I mean, her job was to raise kids. So lo and behold, she went to a staffing company, got a temp assignment with Georgia Pacific in Atlanta, and one thing led to another. She got hired on and stayed with Georgia Pacific for 20 years until she retired. So that's just an amazing picture of how this industry can really move lives and connect things, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. And it's also why I'm kind of passionate about this Hire Dynamics integration, because having been around Hire Dynamics for a while during the summer and leading into this fall, I sense the same kind of passion in them that they bring to this industry. I mean, they are much like us. They're very, very servant heart oriented when it comes to serving clients and serving our talent, trying to look out for what's best for everybody involved. So that's really exciting. I think Dan Campbell, one of the founders of Hire Dynamics, said it best when we were in a meeting about a month ago. He said, we need to be the Chick-fil-A of staffing. And I wanted to just stand up and cheer over that because it kind of says it all, right? I mean, you see Chick-fil-A in a fast food industry, but they stick out. They're not just another fast food company, and you feel it when you go there to eat, when you see their employees. There's a joy to what they're doing, and that's who we are as a company. And I think that's translated into the growth that you see with both companies. And that, I mean, that bodes well for everybody, that growth. It's going to mean a lot for all the employees of both companies, more doors being opened up for opportunities. So that's very exciting. And then also, from the Trace perspective, we're very excited about what Hire Dynamics has been able to do from a systems and technology standpoint. You guys have really done a great job of getting out in the forefront in that area and making recruiting so much easier. You know, and it's such an important, critical element to what we do in today's tight labor market that you really got to be able to work with speed and efficiency, and I think you guys have done a really good job with that. So again, all those factors make me super excited about where we are today. And Kim, I'll just ask you, because I think you've been with Hire Dynamics for quite a long time, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your time with Hire Dynamics?
Oh, good. Well, thank you, Jim. And yes, I have been very blessed to have been able to grow up in a great family. Good parents, good family. Started in Carson City, Nevada. I know you wouldn't tell by this accent of mine, but my dad was originally from Georgia, and we moved to Georgia when I was in middle school. So I'm glad to be a person from Georgia. I graduated from Georgia Southern University, and I know it might surprise some of you, but I was blessed to be a cheerleader during the Irk Russell days. So very fortunate to be there. My first job was with the Morris Newspaper Organization down in Savannah, Georgia, selling advertising in Pooler and all the way into South Carolina. And from there, I then, surprisingly, I can't believe you said Georgia Pacific, but I worked at Georgia Pacific and sold the bad paper that couldn't meet specs, and was very fortunate to have great leadership and be able to further develop my skills. I came into staffing and have been in staffing, I hate to say over 20 years, but have been with Hire Dynamics and very blessed to be here. We have grown tremendously, which is exciting, and I'm so excited to be a part of this journey. We now have 35 branch locations locations and have 54 on-sites. So I was very fortunate to join the company when we were about 30 million, and this year, oh yes, we will be over 300 million. So very excited about the growth and what we have to offer. Personally, I'm married. My husband's name is Ken. I have a wonderful son who's grown, Chad, and is a civil engineer here in Atlanta. And of course, I can't forget about my dog, Gracie, who is definitely a part of the family. And I live here in Georgia. I'm probably considered the road warrior a little bit within Higher Dynamics because I value our people. Love to be in the branches, love to be with our clients, and also gaining new clients as far as through the prospecting. So very, very fortunate. So that's a little bit about me. But about Higher Dynamics, yes, we have grown, and we have purpose metrics, which are fantastic, that we get super excited about. We are relentless about our culture. So the two organizations, just like what you said, Jim, it is phenomenal, and we value that so much in each of our people and all of our locations. We love for our talent to become full-time. That's why we're in business, to service our clients and our talent. Internal retention, we always value that. So we invest in our employees. We provide training, and we want to do everything we can because we feel that as we grow, we need to scale our employees, which is critically important. Net Promoter Scores, yes, very excited about that. Best of staffing for 10 years in a row. Very excited about getting those surveys on a score of 1 to 10. Love that. Overall, we just want to be the #1 staffing company that you would refer to a friend. So let me say that again. Our mission is to be the #1 staffing company that you would refer to a friend. So thanks, Jim. We're super excited about this. So now I want to go back to Billy. Billy, you have had a great career with another organization and been there a long time. And we are so fortunate that now you have decided to join Higher Dynamics. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about the why?
Yeah, well, thank you, Kim. I'm just tremendously honored, blessed, fortunate, humbled to be a part of this organization. I really am. I've been with a company called Racetrack for 22 years. For those of you who may not be familiar with Racetrack, Racetrack's a convenience store company based in Atlanta. It's the second largest privately held company based in the state of Georgia. It's #2. Chick-fil-A, that Jim mentioned, is #3. So it just gives you the size of the company that it is. And I knew it was going to take something really special and very unique for me to leave after all that time. I'd been their president and chief operating officer for 7 years. During those 7 years, the company had grown significantly, over 4 times in earnings over that period. The company was doing incredibly well. I was in a really good place in my career. But I knew there was something else, there was something different that I needed to really consider if I was going to continue on, or how I was going to continue on in my career. I'd known Dan Campbell for 7 or 8 years. Dan and I had become friends, and I always valued what Dan and John Neff and many other leaders like him had done, growing the culture, growing the company of Higher Dynamics. I'd watched him from afar, being a friend of Dan's, but really also, Racetrack was doing some of the same things as it relates to best places to work or top workplaces. And Racetrack was winning, Higher Dynamics was winning. So I'd often talk to Dan or ask Dan, how are you doing it? How are y'all doing it? So Higher Dynamics, while I'm new to the company, I'm not new to knowing about the company. I've followed the company, like I said, for a long, long time. When I was struggling with where I was going to go in my career and what I wanted to do next, I knew, like I said, it was going to take something really, truly unique and special. But I knew it was going to have a couple of things that were very important to me and my family. Number one, it had to be a people-focused culture. A lot of companies are going to win targeting their customer. A lot of companies will win targeting their clients, putting them ahead in the priority order. And a lot of companies will try to win by valuing their people, their employees. That's what Higher Dynamics has chosen to do. We will win through making our people our competitive advantage. That's how we'll beat everybody else, and we'll continue to beat everybody else. And those are a lot of the same things we saw when we first started talking with the guys at Trace. The value they put in their employees, how they put their employees up, and that's how they win. It's important to treat the clients with respect, treat the clients right, absolutely. It's important to go after our talent, make sure our talent feels nurtured and is given a career path and a career plan. But really, at the end of the day, you're going to win through your customers. That's how Chick-fil-A wins. That's how Higher Dynamics wins. That's how my old company, Racetrack, wins, is valuing your employees and putting your employees first, treating them as the competitive advantage. Another important consideration behind why I wanted to become a part of Higher Dynamics was the fact that the company was decentralized. What I mean by that is it gives me an opportunity to get out into the field I don't want to be holed up in our Duluth home office as much as I need to be out in the field, being out in the field amongst our branches, understanding what their challenges are, what their opportunities are, and more importantly, how I can best support them and serve them.
And if I could, Billy, one of the things I think me and you have in common is the same mentality of being out in the field, being on the docks, being in the stores, being in the locations, being hands-on, rolling up our sleeves. And I think that's really going to be the gist and the groove that we're going to be in for many years to come. We at Trace have a mentality that do what it takes, and you have that. And I know I spent some time with Kim and John, and they were the same way. And I think that's really the glove for the hand. We're going to be a solid team going into the future.
No, I agree. The third critical factor was I wanted a company that wanted to grow, a company that was excited about growth, embraced growth, but also grew responsibly. I've seen many, many companies grow, and it's incredible. It creates more opportunities for everybody as a part of that company. But the problem oftentimes is they grow irresponsibly. They lose their culture. They lose a sense of who they are. They lose their purpose. And that's one of the things that my prior company we were able to do. Like I said, we grew 4 times over a span of 8 years. But we never lost a sense of who we are as a company, as a purpose, who our culture was, what our culture was. We not only didn't lose it, but we were able to grow and enhance it. And I think that's what we need to do with Higher Dynamics. Today's announcement is all about growth, combining of 2 companies. We will continue to grow from here, whether it's growing organically through our current clients and opportunities, or whether it's finding somebody else to continue to grow that way through acquisition. The important thing to know is we'll continue to grow. We'll create more opportunities, but we have to protect that culture at all cost and make sure we not only protect it, but we enhance it.
And from Trace's standpoint, what gets me excited is the growing pains that we're currently going through. Higher Dynamics has already gone through them. And they already have positions in place and programs in place and reporting in place that's going to help us really take the company to the next level. So with that, I really appreciate and anticipate great support from the Higher Dynamics team to be able to take both companies and a combined company to the next level.
Right.
Kim, so you had mentioned what a good job Higher Dynamics has done, kind of in the marketing standpoint, branding themselves out there in front of the customers and the community through Net Promoter Scores and so forth. That's very exciting to us. So tell us a little bit more about that and why branding is such a big thing in our industry.
Yeah, you're right, Jim. We have gone through other acquisitions, and I know Trace is a great, solid name, and Higher Dynamics is too. And our marketing team has done a fantastic job of making sure that our name is out there in the public eye, in all the local publications, making sure that we have that solid, good name recognition of Higher Dynamics, which is extremely strong in the states that we serve, which is Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and Texas. So we're very fortunate to have them. But also a couple of the other things that's really helped us, and I know you mentioned the Net Promoter Score, that is definitely a key factor too. And being able to have that high ranking of in the top 2% of out of all the 25,000 staffing companies across the United States and have that high ranking, that is a true proof statement and is definitely part of our secret sauce. Also, just really servicing our client and our talent to the best of our ability and really doing what we need to do by providing solutions to both those, the talent and the clients, which is critically important. We really want to grow. Just like Billy had mentioned, and also Scott, that's important. Growth is extremely important, and I've been fortunate to be a part of that. But we really want to be the best, the very best at what we do. And that is part of the growth and really is a key factor. Our reviews, we've had phenomenal reviews on social media. And again, we had to get focused on that over the last couple of years. And you know what? We have gained clients by strictly people looking online, seeing the reviews of what is done from our talent and our clients, other clients, which has been a big factor of getting referrals, which is extremely important too. And then, you know what? Our sales team, Boy, they are fantastic. And I can't wait until we get the Trace and the Higher Dynamics sales teams together. We're focused on one mission and we really can grow. We've got some secret sauce. We call it water cooler stories that we'll be glad to share, and we'll have some fun with it as well. So we're extremely excited along with the growth, but with that comes the training, and we are all a part of it. We're big believers that if we're not learning, we're not growing. So we're very, very fortunate to look forward to the growth ahead of us.
And we look forward to sharing the Trace Way and adding the Trace Way in with your secret sauce, because that's going to be a fantastic combination. And in terms of branding, it's one of the things that Trace hasn't done the best in the past, but what we do well, and it's going to help us in this transition, and for the team members that was part of the transition from Snelling to Trace, is our full court press, is our commitment to be in front of the customers, communicating with our customers, and then also talking about opportunities. And this goes back to our, what we call going high, wide, and deep into an account. So you take a basic sales call, communication call, and turn it into a sales call. And that's what our focus will be in the fourth quarter, while we are also staying focused on our peak season.
We're incredibly excited to talk about this opportunity for both of our companies. The growth is expected not only by combining the companies, but as we look forward into the future, is going to be incredible. We're excited about that opportunity. Getting bigger is going to be great for all of us. Growth is critically important to us, but bigger is not always better. We must do it responsibly, protect our culture, but scale definitely matters.
I think one of the key words that Billy just mentioned is opportunity. It's going to be opportunity from a business standpoint and from a employee growth standpoint. A lot of doors are going to open up for us as we head into future years, and that gets me very excited.
Yes, and we are very excited about coming to all of your locations to get to know you better and to learn best practices from both companies to become one, because we are believers in that every experience matters.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're talking about growth. Well, let's bring it home to some real numbers. With these two companies coming together, we're going to be servicing over 2,000 clients and over 58,000 people. That is amazing. Those are some big numbers. It's a big responsibility too. We got to do this thing right. We got to be together and go win the day. But those are some exciting numbers to go after. And I know one of the things at Trace that we have really done a good job of, we created our own little hashtag #OneTrace. And it really kind of brought the companies together, the branches together, got them focused, got them thinking outside their backyard. For so long, we'd operated just looking right in your backyard. But now, all of a sudden, a whole new horizon opens up with more branches. Well, we're just putting that whole concept on steroids as we overtake the Southeast as one company. So we're super excited about that.
Team, we've covered a lot, and we do have a lot more to cover. So with that being said, I would like to introduce John, Tim, Lori, Charlie, because we have more to share with you now.
But we're all in.
Let's do this
1, 2, 3.
One team!
Team.